after much thinking and rigorous discussion, some atheists have advanced what they believe to be an invincible argument. That is, that if the universe's complexity requires a designer, then surely God, who is more complex, must need something that designed him too. This argument is, however, flawed on several levels. No, I didn't mean that kind of flawed. I meant this kind of flawed. Let's take each flaw one by one. Firstly, the assumption of this argument is wrong. The universe does not require a designer simply because it is complex. The main reason the universe requires a designer is because before the Big Bang, the universe didn't exist. There was nothing. Zero. Zilch. Nada. And then it came into existence, and there was life, and babies, and happy loving couples, and plants, and indeed the entire solar system, Christmas decorations, and of course our favorite cheesecake. Something came from nothing, and this process requires a designer. This process cannot happen by chance. Why is this? Simply put, this is because the definition of chance is the random selection of an outcome from a set of possibilities. When, however, there are no possibilities, because nothing yet exists, then how can there be a selection of them? Thus, the only possible origin of anything is design, not chance. Think of it like this. Random chance cannot create a car from parts that do not yet exist. Those parts have to exist first. You need an engine and an exhaust, tires and a body all separately before you existence. Many years ago, depending on how many grey hairs you have, you were a baby. There was you and your mum. Before you and your mum were your grandparents, who hopefully are still with us today. Before your grandparents, there were many, many generations of people, your ancestors. And before humans and animals, there was the planet. And before the planet and the solar system, there was the galaxy. Though scientists would have us believe it doesn't quite look like this, but rather a little more like this. The Milky Way galaxy. And what existed before the Milky Way galaxy? Well, there were nebulae, gaseous clouds from which stars were formed. And before all that was the Big Bang. An explosion in which everything came from nothing. And what preceded the Big Bang? Let's call it the Big Cause. Well, what was before the Big Cause? Well, let's call it the Bigger Cause. And what caused the Bigger Cause? Ultimately, this chain of cause and effect cannot extend into the past infinitely. The reason for this is simple. Everything that begins to exist must have a cause, because something cannot create itself. To create itself, it would need to both exist and not exist at the same time. And yet, if we keep going back infinitely, that makes the chain of cause and effect infinite, like a line of dominoes that has no beginning, but stretches into the past forever. If, however, the line of dominoes has no beginning, then how did we get to the present moment? For example, if there was no beginning to this video, then how did you get to the middle of it? If there is no beginning to a race, then how do you find yourself running in it? A line of cause and effect that stretches infinitely into the past can never reach any point along its chain. What this shows us is that we need something to have been an uncaused cause. To believe in an uncaused cause is necessary to believe in everything else that has a beginning and was caused. And thus we are left with three options. Firstly, believe in an uncaused cause. Secondly, believe that nothing, including yourself, has a beginning. And finally, disbelieve in everything that exists.